Drew Alba here with manager of the Walla Walla Suites, Colby Watilo, for another edition of Countdown with Colby. I thought you were going to forget to do it. It's been a little bit,
I know,
Coach.
It has been a little while. I know. I missed you, Drew.
Thanks. You too, man. How are you doing?
Doing well. Yeah, doing well. Great win last night for us. Kicked off the road trip, and yeah, excited to have game 2 tonight.
How was the break?
That was great. Couple days off and some rest in there. Also, opportunity to get up to Bellingham, head out to the All-Star game and be in the dugout up there. And so fun to be with the guys and yeah, trying to watch the best of the best here in the WCL go compete. And great ball game. South didn't pull it out, but yeah, great time up there. Good fans, good turnout, good atmosphere. So yeah, we had a blast.
How was the trip to Bellingham?
Oh, it was a beautiful drive. It was a beautiful 6-ish hours to be up there, but yeah, great weather, perfect conditions. Yeah, couldn't have asked for much more. It's a great time to go visit that part of the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
When you look at a guy like Tanner Kern, Dom Cadiz, Landon Young, what do those guys have in common with everyone else who was also up there at the All-Star game?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of tools, obviously, and arm strength, fielding ability, at the plate, bat to ball skills, power, driving the ball to all sorts, all over the yard. I think they did a good job showing off good approach, and kind of some professionalism in how they go about their business and their approach out there. And so, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that they were right there in the mix and had some great performances out there, both on the showcase side and in the game, which was awesome to see.
Talk about great performances. Tanner Kern, you just mentioned him, had a huge performance in yesterday's ball game. One of the main reasons why the Sweets won the game, you see the Bears kind of give a punch, and Walla Walla was right back with their own counter punch as well, ultimately winning the game 11-8. How big was yesterday's game? It felt like a big one after losing 5 of 6 and then having a little bit of a break.
Yeah, definitely a huge game for us. Not just coming off losing 5 of 6 to get a win in the win column, but also just coming out of the break, get your feet under you a little bit, knock off a little bit of that rest and get a win over a team that came into last night's game only a half game behind us, right? And so huge win for us, an opportunity to win a series tonight, which is going to be huge. We've talked about it a lot of. It's kind of coming down to us and Marion and a couple other teams fighting for those last couple playoff spots. And so with us having Marion 6 times here in the, 6 in the first 9 games, like it's really important for us to take care of business. So good to get us off on the right foot and kind of a gutsy win. Wasn't clean all the way around. We gave up a few runs and made some mistakes, but found a way to, as they punch back, we punch back and found a way to get ourselves the big inning late and be the last team to score. And well, I just technically not. They got one in the 9th, but last team to put up a big number, which secured the win for us.
Crooked numbers. You're always talking about crooked numbers, so there you go. So in yesterday's ball game, I mentioned the kind of counter punch thing. If the Sweets did lose, it would have been the first time Walla Walla is outside or looking into a playoff spot all season long. How do you keep the pedal on the gas, and maybe that half-game lead that the Sweets had yesterday is the least that they will have this entire season?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us it's continuing to take it one game at a time, continuing to play hard, play our brand of baseball, show up every single day, trying to take care of business, playing with a little bit of an edge, playing with a sense of urgency about how we're going about our business. And that's not pressing and trying to do too much, which I think at times this year has been maybe a problem for our squad, but I think it's just, hey, it's playing with energy. It's making sure that when we have the opportunity to capture outs, we capture outs, and we're competing continuously at the plate, and and let the chips fall where they may after that.
How huge is it for a guy like Billy, Nikhil to get both of their number 3 home runs of the year yesterday?
Yeah, that was great to see. Both those guys are starting to, it's been up and down in some ways. Some guys, the results haven't been what they've hoped for, and we've talked a little bit, not just with them, but with a lot of our guys of, there's been times where the results haven't been indicative of the work they're putting in and the process that they're going through. And so it's great to see those guys kind of starting to see the results show and kind of be rewarded for their efforts. So good to see them coming along. Our lineup gets deeper when those guys are really going. And so we love to see it.
Landon and Cole leave the game yesterday. Any update on them?
Yeah, they're both doing good. I would say more preventative and more of a precaution than anything. So yeah, they're doing just fine and going to continue to push forward. And they'll be in the lineup when we feel like it's the right time.
And then a guy like Schaefer back. How is him traveling with everyone after a month? Even a guy like Isaiah Chacon, he's back as well.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It was fun to see the reunions, kind of when those guys walk back and. They've been gone for a few weeks, each of them, and so it was fun to see the guys excited. to see them back in the clubhouse. Also funny to think about they're also making some introductions and seeing some people for the first time, and have some new teammates that weren't here when they were here. So it's good to have them back. Both of them bring great energy and give us some depth at some positions that we need it. And so great to have them back in numerous ways.
How important it is to you have that big break from you're on in the first month of the season. Isaiah, Tristan both were with the team for the most of that first month, and then a huge break, and then you kind of got to go back in the swing of things. I have to imagine that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's gonna we talked a lot early on about trying to get into a rhythm, and I think there's going to be a little bit of that here in these first couple of weeks, but they've been taking care of business while they've been away, and especially for a guy like Schaefer who got a lot of at bats in the springtime too. It's kind of allowed him to be refreshed and come back out maybe with a new energy and kind of a refocused mindset, just not rolling straight from school ball into summer ball. And he kind of got his few weeks away, and now he's sharper and ready to continue to compete for us here as we come down the stretch.
We've been talking about the Berries a lot this season, and yet it was the first time the Sweets have played against Marion all season long. Actually, the inaugural matchup between the Sweets and the Marion Berries. Anything stick out to you after yesterday's ball game?
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of talent, especially in the greater Salem area and kind of the surrounding. There's a lot of good ball players that come from this area, and so it's nice to have high-quality baseball players in your backyard, that can come home and be at home and play for the Berries. And so, they were a good squad. They're deep. They've kind of gave us a little bit of a break from maybe what we've seen of they're not ultra aggressive, like stealing bases and kind of trying to hit their way around a little bit. It felt a little more manageable, and maybe like we were, we kind of matched up with them. I think there's a lot of similarities between our two clubs actually, and so teams that have pitching and kind of ride our guys a little bit. They have some guys that can drive the ball around the yard. We're trying to run, but I wouldn't say we're running, at the very top of the lead or anything like that, like some other teams we've played. And so, I think there's a lot of similarities. So it was a fun matchup yesterday. I think it'll be a good series.
Similarities in philosophy, and also right in the standings, of course, right there, 4-5. Pitching matchup today. What do you expect?
I'm expecting Reimers to go out there and set the tone. I think it's a guy who's kind of figuring out his routine and working the kinks out in a starting role. Being a guy who did a lot of relieving at school ball. It's kind of all he did was throw out of the pen, and so the starting rotation is a bit of a new thing for him, but something that was a big priority for him of wanting to get some experience this summer. And so I think this will be start number 3 or 4 maybe for him so far. And so starting to see him settle in a little bit. And, as he does that, I think some of the volatility and the results of his outings are going to decrease and, kind of start to see some consistency in the tone that he sets for us every single time out. So excited to see him come back out, battle for us. And I think we've got a great guy on the mound to give us a chance to win a series.
How tough of a transition is that from the bullpen to a starter role?
I think it's a little easier going from bullpen to the starting role than a starter trying to throw out of the pen.
I want to think that,
Yeah, because it's as a starter, you have all the time in the world to try to get into your routine and settle in versus, a reliever. It's, hey, you got, a couple hitters or maybe an inning to, try to get warmed up and ready to go in the game. And so just that time frame and that how fast that process happens is a lot shorter as a reliever. So I think going from reliever to starter, you have a little bit more time, but sometimes it can be, a process to learn how to settle into a game or not go in and just, throw everything max 100% and all of a sudden you're out of gas in the second or third inning. So he's a pretty high intent, high effort thrower, but I think he's doing a good job at competing, getting his pitch count into where we want it to be, and getting us through the first half of a game.
Last question before we go to our countdown with Colby question of the day. I would love to get your philosophy and kind of your mindset yesterday using just one relief pitcher through 4 innings and work it out. Is that kind of to set up the next couple of ball games?
Yeah, we're in a spot where we're trying to manage the pitching staff and make sure that we have the guys in the bullpen throughout the series where we need them to. Some extenuating circumstances, just kind of a couple of guys that are still with the team but aren't in the dugout here with us in Salem right now, so we're having to play things a little bit differently. Fenberg being a guy that has experience starting and throwing extended outings, and so he did more than we could have asked him for to come in and go 4 innings out of the pen and throw 70 pitches and get us a win there late in that game. He gets a win to show for it as well, which is awesome, and that's all we could really ask for is just guys that go in there, challenge, compete. Yeah, I got hit around a little bit, but didn't back down from the challenge. Just continue to throw balls in there and take care of business, give us a win.
Yeah, in the 8th inning, I was like, well, he's coming back. And then the 9th, and then he did a great job. He gave up the 4 runs in 4 innings, like you mentioned, Coach. All right, this brings us to our question of the day, the Marion berries. So, Coach, what's your favorite berry?
Oh, I would go strawberry.
Strawberry.
Strawberry, yeah.
I did buy some freeze-dried strawberries
Yeah,
today.
let's go. Yeah, come on. I did. Trader Joe's. Shout out. No free ads.
Trader Joe's, no free ads. Do you think blue raspberry is a real fruit, Coach?
No.
Not a real
So.
fruit.
No, I think there's raspberries and blackberries, in that realm, and then there's blueberries. I don't know if you have blue raspberries.
Yeah, there's not. It's weird. I think they made it so there was not like a blueberry. I mean, it's obviously there is a blueberry, but the inside isn't blue. So like these candy companies made it. It's very interesting. The Marion berries, I think, are also created like artificially.
Are
Like
they?
through trans. I'm not a
Come on,
scientist.
science guy.
I'm not a
Science
science
guy.
guy. But you know like what happens when you.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's.
like a it's like crossbreeding of like genetic makeup of berries.
Right.
Yeah.
Marion berries. Sweets are going to try to get a win today. Maybe eat some berries afterwards. Who knows?
We'll see. Maybe.
We'll have to see.
Who knows?
Sweets looking for a series win. And then in tomorrow's ball game, 6:05 p.m. first pitch. But for today, 6:35. Thanks so much, Coach.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Drew. Go Sweets.